I guess what has it been like for the offensive line, just having a couple of guys like Marcus and Walker out there, but other guys rotating in, and how much work have you been able to being cohesive, I guess?
Yeah, I would say, this is one of the better spring balls we've had as an O-line since I've been here, honestly. Really, really proud. I think this is one of the times where a lot of the young guys, maybe guys who don't have a ton of experience, have really stepped up a lot. Great example, Tristan Lee, for example, has taken massive strides, and he's going to be competing for a starting job come season time. So I think even though we do have some big pieces out like Walker, Marcus Tate, guys like that, a lot of guys have really stepped up, including the incoming freshmen. Like Harris has been doing phenomenal. He's been running with the ones for past week or so now and doing a great job. Zach's been doing really well too. So I think everything's really coming to be, and a lot of guys are really stepping up.
Harris has allowed him to get those reps, do you think?
I think a lot. Obviously he's very talented, but I think the biggest thing for him is he's extremely coachable. He takes everything to heart. He listens. I sit next to him in the film room. He takes notes on everything. You tell him maybe a mistake he made, he corrects it the next play, which I think is huge. And I think sometimes coachability can be very overlooked. When if you really take it to heart, you improve a lot. Like him, think about, he's supposed to be in high school right now, and he's competing for a starting job right now, and that wasn't given to him. He earned it. He earned those reps. So I'm just really proud about that. And obviously he's really talented. He's really flexible. He can bend really well. Yeah.
I think that Coach Sweeney called him a dirt bag.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and the thing is, he plays tough too. When you put the helmet on, we're in between the lines. He wants to finish people, and that's another thing as well. He gets after guys. He wants them on the ground, and he wants to be on top of them. And you want that mentality as an offensive lineman. And even me, going on my 5th year, seeing a mid-year really get after it, that makes me want to be better, and I think that makes everyone else want to play harder too.
It just really depends. When we get to the fall and everyone's starting to get healthy, how much do you feel like that'll boost the confidence, knowing that you got guys behind you that can step in and just play?
Huge. I think, in my opinion, the last time I've really ever felt like that was 2019 season, because we had all those guys start, and then the second team guys were Jordan McFadden, Matt Bockhorst, Cade Stewart, even myself. That was kind of our second team. And even in 2019, any of those guys could be interchangeable, and all those guys, became starters and played really well and really helped this program out. And I really feel like that's the case right now with our offensive line. I think we'll have a lot of guys who are interchangeable. I think a lot of guys are going to be able to play, and I think that's going to help our new offense in this kind of fast tempo offense, because guys are going to be juiced, ready to go, and maybe some guys can get a breather, throw someone else in there, and we'll just keep it rolling.
You mentioned Tristan Lee earlier. Just from the guy who arrived, as a freshman, how different is he this spring, and how have you seen him kind of take the opportunity he has?
Yeah, he's just honestly, I think he's just really matured. Physically, he got in here and I don't think he was really necessarily ready physically. But he's really took it to heart. He works really hard in the weight room over there, and at practice, he's always one of the hardest workers at practice. He's moving, he's finishing, he's hustling, and I think it's just really starting to pay off. I think, coming out of high school, everyone maybe thought he was more of a just add water and stir type of guy. But, maybe he was just a developmental guy this whole time, and now you're able to see that development. And maybe it wasn't just he was able to hop in and start right away, play right away. But now you're seeing, on his 3rd year, all the pieces are starting to come together. And I'm just really happy for him because he's earned it. And his best football is definitely ahead of him. And we're just seeing the start of it.
I guess you personally at center, how much more comfortable do you feel like you are, having last spring to this spring?
Oh, tremendously. I feel way more confident now than I ever have. Same thing for me. I feel like my best football is still ahead of me as well. Just even mentally going into spring practice now compared to last spring. Last spring I was, a lot more anxious, a little bit more nervous, overthinking stuff. But now there's really no thinking. It's just playing and having fun. And I think for anyone to be the best they can be, they just got to play the game to have fun and not play it to, being all anxious and nervous. And that's where I'm at. And I set some goals out for myself this spring, and I'm starting to see myself achieve and accomplish them. And if anything, that's just really motivating going into the summer, going into camp, then going into the season, my last season. So yeah, I'm really excited.
I guess you played any guard at all this spring, or is it all center? Pretty much dedicated.
Pretty much mostly center. Mm-hmm. But I plan in the summer to kind of cross-train some at guard as well. That's always something that I want to do, whether it's for what's best for Clemson. I always want to be ready to play whatever they need to play me at, and then hopefully if I get a chance at the next level, I want to be able to play guard as well. So that's something that I keep in the back of my mind too.
And just obviously as a center, you work with the quarterback a lot. I mean, what is Cade like, just personality-wise as a leader?
Yeah, I think, and Cade's another guy. I think he's a great guy to bring up as well. He's really a guy too that you can just see how he's matured from just a couple months ago until now, right? From, when we played in December till now. I feel like at first, he was a freshman. Now he's not a freshman anymore. I think maybe he felt pressure, maybe a little anxious. Now, again, he's just going out there having fun. Like, you can really tell that it feels like there's no weight on his shoulders and he's just playing free and he's having fun. And I think that's really showing. Again, I don't watch the quarterbacks because if I'm watching them, that means bad things are happening, right? But I can tell you this, I think coming out of spring break, I think he's playing some of his best football. And I can say that because I've noticed it. And his energy is very contagious. And I wouldn't be able to say that maybe a while back ago, but I can full-heartedly say that now. And I think everyone else can say that as well. And I think he's really developing into a leader that we want and the leader that our team needs. So, yeah.
And what is it like as an offensive lineman in this offense? Because I know with the receivers, the way they line up, you guys can line up faster now. So, I mean, is there more urgency as an offensive lineman, like I got to run?
Yeah. I mean, I think so too. I think it starts from the top. It starts from Coach Riley and him kind of making the emphasis of how that's very important for our offense. And if we want to succeed, how we want to succeed, we got to be able to play with that tempo. And I think we have a lot more just one-word, quick fastballs in as well, which that automatically drives the tempo. So you hear that word, it's like we need to get to the ball, we need to snap it now. And even how we do practice, right? Like we start practice just doing tempo against defense. How fast can we run 4 plays, right? How fast can we run 4 plays against the defense? And we stress that every single day, which we didn't do before. And I think that's really good, and everything's a lot more simplified. And they give us I feel like they give us a little bit more autonomy up front to kind of make calls and decisions, which I think makes everything just faster and less complicated for everyone.
Is it pretty similar though from last year, the way you guys would, the schemes themselves?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, yes. Because think about it. I mean, at the end of the day, inside zone's inside zone. It is what it is. You might have little tweaks, but you're going to block it the same way, right? Outside zone, you're going to block it the same way, all that stuff. So, I mean, yeah, some things are similar, I would say, but I think just kind of the more bigger picture of everything is definitely different. I just feel like the pieces fit together a little bit better than they did before. Because I feel like we've been stringing along good days after good days after good days as an offense. And I think that has to be some credit has to go to Coach Riley for that as well. So
yeah, I mean, can you sense there's some confidence building the offense? Obviously, new scheme, new coach.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're competing. We're competing. Offense is competing to win against the defense every single day. And we've really strung together some really good days. Like there's been a couple days where we're winning most of all the reps, right? And I think that's really good to have as an offense, especially having new leadership on our offense, going in a little bit different direction. And it only being spring, right? We're pretty much still in the install phase. Guys are still looking at these plays for the first time. Like we installed some plays today, and that's our first time putting our eyes on it, right? And we're able to put what we're learning in the meeting room to the practice field that quickly. I think that's a really big confidence booster, going into the summer, going into fall camp, and then inevitably the season.
I think Will Shipley said, though, like after a couple days, Coach Riley brought everybody together, said that's 75% of the offense right there. Like, did that shock you? I mean, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think, a little bit it did. Yeah, it definitely did. I think it's a little bit easier for me because I've just had a lot of experience, and I know how to study film. I know how to do all that stuff, so I was able to learn it quickly. But overall, guys have really learned it pretty well. I'm speaking for the offensive line. I can't speak for everyone, but I mean, there's been very minimal misassignments. I think this has to be the least amount of misassignments we've had at the offensive line in an entire spring since I've been here. Even for the mid-year guys, which I'm really proud of them for that. I think guys are just taking a lot of ownership, and I think that goes with it just being really motivating.